Hello friends, this is Benjamin from English Classes Online. You are welcome to today's video. Today we shall be looking at parts of speech in English. This lecture is English Grammar for Beginners, and the lecture is in response to popular demand. It will enable you to learn the basics of English grammar by mastering the parts of speech which form the building blocks for English speech and writing. If you are new to my channel, kindly subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon below so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be instantly notified. Let's dive into the lecture right away and look at the meaning of parts of speech. What do parts of speech mean? A part of speech is a category of words that perform similar grammatical functions. Another word for parts of speech is word classes. They are the groups into which English words are classified according to their functions in sentences. Learning the parts of speech helps us to know how to use a word correctly in a sentence. Now, the 8 parts of speech at a glance. Let's look at the 8 parts of speech at a glance. And here we have the noun. All right. We have the noun, we have the pronoun, we have the verb, the adjective, the adverb, the preposition, the conjunction, and the interjection. Alright, so these are the 8 parts of speech at a glance. I want to point out here that this classification is in line with the traditional grammatical theory. In modern linguistics, some scholars are of the opinion that interjection may not be proper to be classified with other parts of speech. And some, of course, some carve out determiners as a separate part of speech. In traditional grammar, determiners are treated under adjectives. So at this stage, for beginners, we shall be looking at the parts of speech from the perspective of traditional grammar. So we have these 8 parts of speech as already stated. Now let's look at parts of speech and their meanings. A noun is a naming word. A pronoun replaces a noun in a sentence. A verb indicates action or state. An adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. In other words, adjective describes people or things. An adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or sometimes another adverb. A preposition indicates a relationship between parts of a sentence. A conjunction joins words, phrases, or clauses together, while an interjection expresses emotions. So we shall proceed to look at this one by one, although in this particular video we shall be giving you an overview of what each part of speech is all about. In subsequent videos we shall take the parts of speech one by one and go into greater detail to discuss them. Now, a noun, as earlier mentioned, names a person, thing, place, or idea. That's what a noun does in a sentence. For example, in naming a person, we can say the teacher asked Jim to stand up. In this sentence, the teacher is a noun, that's the name of a person, and Jim is a noun, the name of a person. These two types of nouns will be explained when we look at types of nouns. What is the difference between teacher as the name of a person and Jim as the name of a person? Teacher is a common noun, Jim is a proper noun, and we shall look at this in greater detail. Then, in naming a thing, we can say the boy opened the box and stole the money. A box is a thing and money is a thing. In naming a place, we can say Nigeria is made up of 36 states and the FCT. Nigeria is the name of a country. State is the name of part of a country, and the FCT is the name of the capital. Of course, FCT stands for Federal Capital Territory, and of course that's another way of saying the capital of the country, the Federal Capital Territory. Now, in naming an idea, we can say education is the greatest legacy. Education is an idea, legacy is an idea. Now, subclasses of nouns. We shall be looking at subclasses of nouns. Alright. Now, we will be looking at the noun type, the description, and the examples. Now, a proper noun names a specific place, can name a specific person, a specific thing, or a specific place, or a specific institution. What the proper noun does is that it gives a particular name, a specific name, a definite name, to someone. For example, John is the name of a particular person. There are many. John is a boy or probably a man. There are different men out there, but John is a particular man we are talking about. Lagos is a state in Nigeria. There are other states, and state is a common name, but Lagos is the name of a particular state. Mary is the name of a particular woman or girl. London is the name of a particular country, if you like, a particular city. National Theatre is the name of a particular institution. Nigeria is the name of a particular country, and so on and so forth. Then a common noun names a type of person, thing, or idea. For example, book is a type of educational material. Boy is a type of person, is a type of person. City is a type of place. Girl is a type of person. School is a type of institution. Man is a type of person. House is a type of shelter. Pot is a type of cooking utensils. So when you have, a particular type of thing, then you use a name that is common to all the things that belong to that class or that type, So we can say that there is a class of human beings we can call boys. So a boy belongs to that type of human being, is that type of human being we are talking about. So that's what a common noun is. It gives a name that all the things in a particular that belong to a particular class or type share in common, So abstract noun refers to things you cannot see or touch. You cannot see or touch peace. You cannot see or touch health, joy, love, wisdom, anger. Then this is a continuation noun type description examples. A concrete noun refers to things you cannot see. Now, this noun is different. A concrete noun refers to things that you can see or touch, not that you cannot see or touch. This is a typo. We have already seen that abstract noun refers to things you cannot see, but concrete noun refers to things you can see and touch. So you can see and touch a table, a box, a man, a book, a chair, a bed, a door, a house, a basket, a mat, and so on and so forth. Things you can see and touch are concrete nouns. Then a countable noun refers to things you can count, 1, 2, and so on. You can talk of one box or 2 boxes. Then the same applies to cups, buckets, tables, etc. Alright? Those are countable nouns. Then uncountable noun refers to things you cannot count. You cannot count water, advice, news, information, peace, glass, tea, etc. Singular noun refers to one. A single unit of something is what the singular noun refers to. For instance, a boy. You are talking of one boy, a book, one book, an elephant, and so on. Then the plural noun refers to more than one. When you talk of boys, it's either 2 or more. Books, elephants, tables, and so on. Then a collective noun is the name of a group of things or persons. For instance, a crowd is a group of people, a club, a class, a family, a choir, a band, a committee. Alright? Then a compound noun consists of 2 or more words, such as a blackboard, blackboard, mother-in-law, bookshop, woman, lawyer, and so on. These are compound nouns. Then a pronoun replaces a noun in a sentence. A pronoun is a word used in place or instead of a noun. And so let's look at pronoun and examples. We have different types of pronouns. The personal pronouns examples are I, you, he, she, it, they, me, him, her. So I can replace, the speaker. You replaces the listener. He can replace someone you are talking about. You are talking about John, then you can say he. You can say John is a boy. He is also a student. Mary is a girl. She is also a broadcaster. Something like that. Then relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are who, which, that, whatever. Then we have demonstrative pronouns. So demonstrative pronouns are this, that, these, and those. Then we have possessive pronoun, mine, yours, his, hers, and theirs. We have reflexive pronouns, myself, yourself, himself, herself, and so on. Interrogative pronoun, they are used in asking questions: which, who, what. Indefinite pronouns don't refer to anyone or anything in particular. Examples are anyone, all, nobody, everyone. You have others like all, somebody, something, and so on. Reciprocal pronouns include each other, one another. Then, of course, they refer always to things that have. When you talk of each other, you are talking of 2 persons. You talk of one another, you are referring to 3 or more persons. If you say the husband and wife love each other, then you can say all members of that family love one another. So a pronoun is used in place of a noun to avoid repetition. Let's look at some examples of how we use the pronoun in a sentence. James is a student, but he works on his father's farm on weekends. So here we can see that James is a noun. Once we have mentioned James, it will be repetition if we say James is a student, but James works on James's father's farm on weekends. It will sound boring. So we replace James with he, and we replace James's with his. Then the next example, lecturers have been on strike since last year. They are still on strike. So it will be repetition if we say lecturers have been on strike since last year. Lecturers are still on strike. So pronouns help us to avoid repetition, to avoid repeating the names of persons or things in a sentence. Okay, so next we look at the verb. A verb indicates an action or a state of being. That's what a verb does. And then in terms of indicating action, we take these examples. Mary sings beautiful songs. Sings is an action verb. It speaks about the action of Mary. Dan repaired the generator. He's telling us the action taken by Jane on the generator. Olu ate all the food, and that tells us about Olu's action in relation to the food. Kanu kicked the ball into the net. So kicked is a verb reporting Kanu's action, Kanu's footballing action. Then in reporting state of being or indicating state of being, we have two examples. Mary is a singer. That is telling us, is not talking of Mary's action as we find in Mary sings beautiful songs, but it's telling us what Mary is. Mary is a singer. That is the state of existence, as it affects Mary. The earth is spherical. It's telling us the earth's state of being. The earth is spherical. Then let's look at various types of verbs. First, we have the lexical verb. A lexical verb is a main verb such as play, go, come, eat, sing. Then auxiliary verbs. An auxiliary verb is a helping verb such as the verb of be, the verb to be, have, do, can, will, may, could, have. When we shall discuss auxiliary verbs as a topic, we will be able to differentiate between the primary auxiliary verbs, which are three: be, have, and do, which can serve dual grammatical purposes. They can be used as main verbs and can also be used as auxiliary verbs. Unlike the modal auxiliary verbs such as can, will, may, could, and would. Then we have finite verb. A finite verb shows tense, such as is, was, are, plays. So it shows the tense. Tense is the form of a verb that indicates the time of action or state of being. Then a non-finite verb is the opposite of the finite verb. The non-finite verb doesn't show any tense. For instance, being, to sing. If you say Mary likes to sing, this sing cannot change in any way. Mary likes to sing. You cannot say Mary likes to sing. So it doesn't change. It remains in the base form, and that is what makes it a non-finite verb. It's not sensitive to a change in time or a change in person. You cannot say Mary likes to sing. No. So then we have the regular and irregular verb. The regular verb changes its forms like most verbs to indicate simple past and past participle. For example, talk, talked, and has talked. I talk. I talk to a group of students regularly. I talked to the group yesterday. John has also talked to them. All right, so those are that's the example of regular verbs. An irregular verb has an irregular past simple and past participle. For example, eat, ate, and has eaten. Then you have sing, sang, and has sung. So those are irregular verbs. Then other types of verbs, we have a transitive verb. A transitive verb requires an object. E.g., Olu killed an elephant. Olu is the subject, killed is the transitive verb, and then an elephant is the object. An object is the receiver of the action reported by the transitive verb. Now, an intransitive verb requires no object. For example, Bosse fainted. There's no object. Bosse fainted. That's just it. She fainted. We cannot say Bosse fainted an elephant. No, it's not a transitive verb. It doesn't require an object. Then we talk of an inchoative verb, and that is the type of verb that expresses a change of state on its own. It is similar to the intransitive verb. For example, the bell rang. The bell rang. This it gives us the picture as if the bell rang itself. But the difference is that an inchoative verb, can as well be a transitive verb that we have already used inchoatively. Then again, the window opened. You can see the window opened. Like in the case of the bell rang, we can say the timekeeper rang the bell. But here we chose to say the bell rang. We can say James opened the window. But here we chose to say the window opened. Then we have a causative. A causative verb is the verb that expresses a cause. E.g., Debbie made her husband attend the meeting. When you cause something to happen, you can say, well, Okonkwo doesn't let his children misbehave. Doesn't let his children misbehave. All right. Then we have a gative verb, and this can be used both transitively and intransitively. And of course, when we talk of the verbs we have already used inchoatively, of course, we can look at them as agative verbs. We refer to them as agative pairs. You can use them transitively, and you can also use them intransitively. Example, the verb open. Obi opened the door. We are using it transitively here. The door opened. We are using it intransitively here. And in this case, we have made it inchoative. All right? Then another example is ring. Ring, break, boil, roll. You can see the ball rolled into the net, or the Messi rolled the ball into the net. You can use it transitively. You can use it intransitively. Then stative verb refers to a state or condition. For example, can you hear me? These stative verbs cannot be used progressively. So it is wrong to say, are you hearing me? When you say, are you hearing me? It is ungrammatical. Another example is the verb like. Jane likes rice. It's wrong to say Jane is liking rice. The same thing is no. He knows the way, not he is knowing the way. I love singing, not I am loving singing. Do you understand? Not are you understanding? So these are stative verbs. Then we have dynamic verbs that are just the opposite of the static or stative. And a dynamic verb describes actions and can be either durative, when it can report something that happens for some time, such as play, walk, sing, write, eat, and so on. Or another type of dynamic verb is punctual, something that happens in a moment, such as sneeze, blink, explode, catch, dive, swallow. We can differentiate between them by using ing for durative and the base form for punctual verbs. For example, I watched my elder sister cooking supper. Cook is a durative verb. It can describe a process, and so we can use ing to capture it. I watched my elder sister cooking supper. Then B, I saw Mike dive into the river. Dive into the river. Because when you talk of diving into the river, it happens in a split second. Then linking verb. A linking verb connects a subject with its complement. E.g., Mr. Madi was our agric teacher. So was is a linking verb, and it might interest you to know all the forms of the verb to be linking verbs. Susan felt ashamed. Again here, felt is a linking verb. And when we talk of the subject and its complement, in Amadi was our agric teacher, the subject is Amadi, our agric teacher is the complement, and this is the linking verb. You need to understand that a complement is the description of the subject, and so a linking verb couples the subject and the complement. Then we come to adjectives. An adjective describes or modifies a noun or a pronoun. Then types of adjectives. We have adjectives of quality. They describe the quality which a person or thing has. For example, the Lord is good. The woman is kind. And again, you can see that an adjective can come before the noun it modifies, or it can come after a linking verb. Here we placed it after a linking verb, and when an adjective comes after a linking verb, it is used to perform the function of a complement. We can say the good Lord, the good Lord, or you can say the kind woman. So an adjective can be used as a pre-modifier, and it can also be used as a complement. Alright, so we have adjectives of size that tell us about the size of the person or thing being talked about. For example, the tall boy is the class captain. Tall is the adjective of size, telling us the size of the boy, that he is tall. Then they live in a large house, in a large house. That is telling us the size of the house. Then we have adjectives of shape that tell us about the shape of the things we are talking about. These glasses suit people with round faces. Round is the adjective of shape describing the face. People used to think that the earth was flat or round. That's the shape of the earth they assumed was flat or round. But the earth is spherical. That's another shape of the earth that scientists have eventually concluded is the actual shape of the earth. Then other types of adjectives, we have adjectives of age. The young man greeted the old man. Young is telling us the age of the man. Old is telling us the age of another man. Mr. Okon bought a new car yesterday. New is the age of the car. Adjectives of color, e.g. white, black, green, red, yellow, blue, orange, purple, pink, etc. We can say, well, it is a blue car, or it is a green car, or it is a white car. Adjectives of nationality or origin. He bought a Japanese car, telling us the origin of the car or where the car comes from. The origin now is Japanese. When we talk of car, we talk of the origin. We talk of persons, we talk of their nationality. He married an American woman. American here indicates the nationality of the woman. Then we have possessive adjectives. These are identical to possessive pronouns: my, your, his, her, it, our, and their. But these are used as modifiers. So you can see that these are possessive pronouns. When they come before a noun, they modify the noun by indicating ownership. Alright? For example, your house is not far from the venue of our next meeting. Our next meeting. There are different types of meetings, but this meeting is our next meeting. Mrs. Williams represented her husband. There are different husbands, but we are talking of her husband. Mrs. Williams represented her husband on the occasion. She also received the prize on his behalf. On his behalf. Alright? So those are possessive adjectives. Adjectives that indicate possession. Then we have other types of adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives. For example, this, that, these, and those. They are like demonstrative pronouns, but when they are used to modify nouns or noun phrases, they are known as demonstrative adjectives when they come before a noun. For example, this house belongs to Uncle Eze. Those women at the gate are his wives. Now, if we say this is Uncle Eze's house, then this becomes a demonstrative pronoun. But when we say this house belongs to Uncle Eze, this becomes a demonstrative adjective because it's telling us about the type of house we are talking about. Which house, Those women at the gate are his wives. If we say those are his wives, then we are using those as a demonstrative pronoun. But when we say those women at the gate are his wives, then we are using those as a demonstrative adjective because it is telling us more about women. These files should be kept inside that drawer. So both these and that in this sentence are demonstrative adjectives. Then we have interrogative adjectives. Interrogative adjectives which and what are like interrogative pronouns, but are used to modify nouns and noun phrases. Okay, so let's look at this. For example, which boys broke the windscreen? Which boys? What book did the lecturer recommend? Because it comes before a noun, it is an interrogative adjective. If we say, what is the name of the book, then we are using an interrogative pronoun. But when we say, what book did the lecturer recommend, it is a demonstrative adjective. Then finally we have indefinite adjectives. These resemble indefinite pronouns, but they are used as modifiers, and the evidence is that they come before a noun. For example, many men beat their wives. Many comes before men, which is a noun. Many men beat their wives. Some wives beat up their husbands. All dogs are animals. All dogs. Jesus fed the multitude with a few loaves of bread. A few loaves of bread. Alright? So that is exactly how we those are the types of pronouns. Then we come to we just finished looking at adjectives, right? So now we are going to look at adverbs. An adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Kinds of adverbs. There are different kinds of adverbs, such as adverbs of time, frequency, place, manner, degree, relative, and interrogative adverbs. Alright, that's the type we use in relative clauses and the type we use in asking questions, or what you call interrogative sentences. Now let's look at adverbs of time. These include adverbs which answer the question when. Examples are today, tomorrow, now, then, soon. Adverbs of time can also tell us of the duration of something, such as since, for, briefly, etc. I will travel to Enugu tomorrow. Now if you say I will travel to Enugu and put a full stop, naturally the question will be when, and the answer is tomorrow. So adverbs of time provide answers to the question when. Jesus is coming soon. So if we say Jesus is coming and we put a full stop and someone asks when, our answer simply is soon. Then adjectives of frequency. These tell us about frequency of occurrence. That's how often something happens. Examples are once, twice, usually, daily, always, often, never, frequently, occasionally, sometimes, regularly, etc. Let's look at how we use some of them in sentences. For example, I take my bath daily. If someone said I take my bath and put a full stop, naturally a question can arise. How often do you take your bath? I take my bath daily. He comes here twice a week. Twice is an adjective of frequency. Then adverb of frequency, not adjective. Then with the next type of adverb is adverb of place. These adverbs indicate the place where something occurs, thus answering the question where. Examples are here, there, everywhere, and somewhere. For example, Mark hid his purse somewhere. If we say Mark hid his purse and put a full stop, the natural question is where, and the answer is somewhere. Then another example, we went there for shopping. If we say we went for shopping, someone can ask where, and we can say there. Then adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner usually provide answer to the question how. Examples are quickly, slowly, gently, honestly, happily, well, fast. Such adverbs usually come after the verbs they modify. For example, Johnson ran quickly into the room. If we say Johnson ran into the room, someone can ask how. How did he run into the room quickly? And when we say you have spoken, how, where? Adverbs of degree, they answer the question how much or to what extent. Examples: very, quite, rather, etc. She is very beautiful. If we say she is beautiful, how much beautiful is she, or to what extent is she beautiful? She is very beautiful. Tim walks extremely fast. If we say Tim walks fast, then we can say how much fast does Tim walk? Tim walks extremely fast. Then relative adverbs include when, where, and why. Examples: I saw Adamu when he was boarding the bus. When he was boarding the bus is called a relative clause, or what can also be called an adjectival clause. So a relative clause usually begins with a relative adverb, and this is a relative adverb of time. So here, I met Olu where he was playing with Folu. Where he was playing with Folu is an adjectival or relative clause. I wondered why he did such a thing. Why he did such a thing is a relative clause. So normally a relative adverb begins a relative clause. Then we have interrogative adverbs. These are similar to relative adverbs: when, where, why, and how. The difference is that interrogative adverbs are used for asking questions. They are usually placed at the beginning of a question. For example, why did you come to school? Why didn't you come to school yesterday? When does the station open? How are you? Where do you live? So they are used in asking questions. Our next part of speech is preposition. A preposition indicates the relationship between words in a sentence. It links nouns, pronouns, and phrases to other words in a sentence. For example, Eze went to the market. This is indicating the direction, but is showing us the relationship between Eze and the market. Jude came by bus. It indicates a relationship between Jude and the bus, and it indicates the manner in which Jude came, or the means by which Jude came, if you like. Jude came by bus. Mary is inside the room. Now, here we have a relationship between Mary and the room, and what indicates the relationship is the preposition inside. Mary is inside the room. Then the next we have the president will visit Lagos on Monday. On Monday, that is now time, is showing us the time. So a preposition can be used to indicate a relationship in terms of time. Alright? Then the next, the lecturer will be here at 2. Again, that is indicating time. At is the preposition. Next, the car was manufactured in Japan. Now, Japan is the source or the origin of this car, and in is used to tell us the relationship. Alright. Now, we can look at this just to have an overview or insight into the correct use of prepositions. This we begin with prepositions showing place. The preposition in can be used for continents, and we have examples in Asia, in Africa, in Europe. So when we are talking of a continent, we use the preposition in. Again, in is used for countries like in Ghana, in France, in Nigeria. It's used for, it can also be used for states as in Ogun, Abia, in Kogi, in Enugu. It can be used for cities and towns too, in Enugu, in Owerri, in Nsukka, in Abuja. We can use in for names of buildings such as in the Glass House, in the State House, in the White House, and so on. Then we use on for streets. On Marina Street in Lagos, on Awolowo Road, Ikeja, on Ring Road, Benin City, on Market Road, Nsukka. So we can use on when talking about streets. We can use at to show numbers of buildings or houses. We can say at 66 Krikri Road, Apapa, at 12 Efun Road, Warri, at the State House, at Louis Edet House, at the International Conference Center. So at is the appropriate preposition when we are talking about numbers of buildings or houses or names of buildings. Then we have prepositions showing time, and in is appropriate when we are talking about months, years, or even periods of a day, and so on, or length of time. Now we can use it for to talk about months in April, in October, in December. All right, when are they getting married? In October or in December. Then we can talk about years in 1960, in 1984, in 2004, in 2012. We can use it to talk about the period of the day, in the evening, in the afternoon, or to talk about the length of time in a week's time, in 30 minutes. Then the preposition on can be used to talk about days of the week, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Fridays, and it can be used to talk about dates on October 1st, on 18th August. At can be used to talk about the time of the day, at 7:30, at 10:30, at dawn, at noon, at dusk, at midnight. The next part of speech we shall be looking at is conjunction, and the conjunction connects words, phrases, and clauses together. Kinds of conjunctions. 4 kinds of conjunctions can be identified: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, correlative conjunctions, and conjunctive adverbs. Now I'm talking about coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are used to connect two equal parts of a sentence. They can be summarized by the acronym FANBOYS, and this acronym stands for the following words: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. They perform different functions. Additive coordinating conjunctions. The word and is used to perform the additive function. That is adding something, It is used to add or join words together in a sentence. For example, Jim and I attended the seminar. And is a conjunction, a coordinating conjunction. It joins Jim and I together. We ate and drank at the restaurant. So and joins ate and drank. 2 different actions. We ate and drank at the restaurant. Then contrastive coordinating conjunctions. The word but is used to perform the contrastive function. It is used to show opposite or conflicting ideas. For example, Naaman was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. So we look at two qualities. One is the strength of Naaman, and the other one is his weakness. Then Jane is small but strong. So again, we are looking at two qualities of Jane. Small could be her weak point. Strong is her strong point, her strength. Alright? Yet is similar to but, as it is used to introduce a contrasting idea that follows the preceding idea logically. For example, he comes to work every day, yet he never does any meaningful thing. He claims to be a Christian, yet he humanizes a lot. Then we have alternative coordinating conjunction. The coordinator or does this job. It is used to show choice or possibilities. Take it or leave it. So we can see a choice between taking it and leaving it. And this choice is provided by the conjunction or. The team will arrive today or tomorrow. So again, we find or providing alternative. Today or tomorrow. The word nor is used to present an alternative idea to an already stated negative idea. For example, I do not like boxing nor wrestling. I just like football. The second example, not a building nor a tree was left standing. Then we come to subordinating conjunctions. A subordinating conjunction is used to introduce subordinate clauses. It joins the subordinate clause to the rest of the sentence. Alright, so let's look at examples are when, before, while, because, although, as, if, how, as much as, since, in order that, in as much as, unless, provided, whenever, after, until, though, so that, as if, as long as, even if, even though, till, where, than, that, if only, now that, once, rather than, wherever, whereas. All these are subordinating conjunctions. A subordinating conjunction usually comes at the beginning of a subordinate or dependent clause. For example, unless you hurry up, you will miss the flight. We can reconstruct the sentence and begin with, you will miss the flight unless you hurry up. So unless begins the subordinate clause. A subordinate clause is a clause that cannot stand on its own, which is why it is called a dependent clause. In this sentence, which is a complex sentence, the main clause is you will miss the flight, and the subordinate clause is unless you hurry up. Then it begins with a subordinating conjunction. The next, if I am elected president, I will construct a second bridge across the Niger. Again, we can reverse it. I will construct a second bridge across the Niger if I am elected president. The next example, the rat plays when the cat is away. When the cat is away is the subordinate clause, and the main clause is the rat plays. We can also reverse the sentence and begin with the subordinate clause, so it becomes when the cat is away, the rat plays. Then we have correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are usually used in pairs to connect two or more linguistic constituents that should be treated as grammatically equal. Examples are both and, either or, neither nor, whether or, as we have in the following examples. Both Mary and Martha were friends of Jesus. Both and. Either the president or his representative is expected at the occasion. Whether you drive or fly doesn't really matter as long as you arrive before the meeting starts. Then we use but also. Olu not only slapped Folu but also kicked her. So this is a typo. Olu not only slapped Folu but also kicked her. Then finally, in conjunctions, we have conjunctive adverbs. As earlier stated, conjunctions do the job of joining words, phrases, or clauses together to clarify what the speaker or writer is saying. They help to provide smooth transition between one idea to another. A conjunctive adverb is an adverb which does the job of connecting ideas. Conjunctive adverbs include also, then, accordingly, moreover, besides, nevertheless, consequently, next, conversely, nonetheless, finally, otherwise, furthermore, similarly, hence, still, however, subsequently, instead, therefore, likewise, thus, meanwhile. These are conjunctive adverbs. A conjunctive adverb can join two main clauses. That is, it can behave like a coordinating conjunction. For example, the team could not win the gold trophy. However, it won the silver. So that's exactly an example. However is the conjunctive adverb here. Another example, John didn't have the relevant qualification for the job, otherwise he would have been picked for the job. Otherwise is the conjunctive adverb here. Next example, the bride's mother died a week before the wedding, hence the wedding was postponed. Hence is the conjunctive adverb. Then we come to the last part of speech, which is interjection. As I earlier mentioned, in modern linguistics, it has become a subject of controversy whether interjections should actually be classified with other parts of speech. To this question, traditional grammar says yes, but some modern grammarians differ. Well, for the purpose of this video, we are treating interjection as a part of speech, and it is used in expressing emotions. Now we talk of the kind of feeling. Emotion means feeling, and then we talk of the interjection. When expressing the feeling in greeting, you can use interjection. For instance, hello Jane, how are you? Hi, how are you? Alright, so the interjection is used in saying hello Jane, how are you? Hi, how are you? Alright, then in expressing the emotion of pain, one can say, oh, you wounded me, or ouch, you stepped on my toe, ouch. In expressing sadness, someone can say, alas, I have no money, alas. In expressing joy, someone can say, hooray, I've been picked for the job. In expressing surprise, someone can say, gosh, is that the time? Or one can say, what? Good heavens. Alright? So that is how it has been in today's video lecture, we have been looking at parts of speech in English, and we have looked at the various parts of speech. Of course, we looked at what parts of speech mean, and then we looked at the 8 parts of speech at a glance. For a quick rundown or recap, we looked at the noun, the pronoun, the verb, the adjective, the adverb, the preposition, the conjunction, and the interjection. Now, in our next video or videos, we shall be discussing the parts of speech one after the other. In fact, each part of speech is very vast in itself, so much so that we may need to talk about them in about 2 or 3 videos. I'm talking of each part of speech. Some are more vast than the other. For instance, the noun, the verbs, the adjectives, these are very vast, and we need to be talked about or discussed in several video lectures. But today I am happy we've been able to discuss the parts of speech in English, to give you an overview of the English parts of speech, as a lecture to give you the right start, to give you an overview, to give you the right foundation in learning English grammar. So if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you will be receiving instant notifications each time new videos are uploaded on this channel, and you will have free access to the videos I upload on the channel once you subscribe and also click on the notification bell. This is where we draw the curtain. Thank you for tuning in and being part of today's episode. See you in the next video, and bye bye for now.